Boy, I hate doing body work. So here's the hood in its current state. There's a lot of work before you because I spent 3 days getting it to look like this. The blue that you see in here is just tape, so don't get all excited about that. That's not paint color or anything like that. See the front right there is painted a gloss black, but I'm actually going to redo that with a metallic gloss black because I'm not 100% happy with this color. The inside is also painted a gloss black, but you guys haven't seen this thing since it was sandblasted. And I told you that guy ground down all my rivets, the first guy. And so what I ended up doing was mending the two halves of hood and welding across. You can see right there that it was two halves. And yeah, I sort of bonded them together, shaved the body line. It took a very long time to get it to look like this. Probably the better part of 3 solid days, and I mean solid days, 8-hour days out here. You don't believe me? Here's all the sandpaper. Tons of it. All different grits. I got this thing back, it was just sandblasted, so I did 2 coats of Bondo, body filler. Not coats, but I did 2 sets of Bondo, sanded that down. I did the whole hood in glazing putty, sanded that down because all the grinding marks left in by that guy, I had to fill them in somehow. And then I did, well, you're looking at about 9 coats of primer, and it was all block sanded with this piece of wood and a bucket, wet block sanded. 600 grit between each coat of primer, and let me tell you guys, it was a nightmare, but I think the outcome, the end result, will be totally worth it. And here's the Racing Mower Go-kart project, completely and utterly covered. Not because I want to hide it from you guys, but because I'm about to paint the finish coat color on these mesh pieces. I may do other pieces the same color, but right now this is the important one, so I'm going to do this one. I think everything else is pretty much removable to paint. So I got the whole frame, everything double papered and double taped off, so there should be no seepage of paint anywhere. So here's the paint setup we're going to be using. This black is going to go in the grill. This is a black metallic, I think it's a GM color, but we're going to use that because it's got a little bit of metallic metal flake stuff in it, and it, you know, will help offset with the base color paint, which is this burnt copper metallic. And if you actually Google this color, it doesn't look like this as it does on the cap. And I don't know how well my camera's going to pick this up. The actual color that it sprays is a little different. This looks a little more red. But yeah, it's not glittery and gay looking like that. Trust me, it looks more like this, but it's not that tint. That's just a plastic cap, not the paint. And we got a couple cans of clear, and I got some 1000 grit sandpaper. So I'm going to be doing lots of painting. Alright, it is painted. It's got 3 coats of color and 2 coats of clear. And the clear is still kind of drying. But once that's dry, we can peel all this paper off. So there it is. It's a really nice contrast. I like it. It's definitely not the same exact color as the cap. It's close though. So I went ahead and painted my chain guard silver metallic. It came out really nice. It was chrome, but the chrome was peeling off and it looked terrible, so I did like 3 or 4 coats of silver metallic and block sanded it so it came out nice and flat and really deep looking. I really like it. I also rerouted my spring that actually works the chain tensioner. It used to come up and go underneath the seat and it would rub against the exhaust in the chain guard. So I actually drilled a small hole right here in the small bolt block casting in the Honda. You can see there's a little bolt hole there that's not used. So I drilled a tiny little hole down into it and hooked my spring there. Actually, this is a new spring. And yeah, works pretty good. And the best of all, there's no collision or interference from anything. Getting closer. I got the seat bolted down on there, chain guards on, and I went ahead and polished all the aluminum billet pieces. Hey guys, haha, pretty shiny, huh? I went ahead and went over this belt guard that I made for the torque converter, and I went over it with 1000 grit, and then I went over it again with a buffing compound for actual automotive paint, a medium cut compound, and then I went over it again with Never Dull, which I'll show you that in a second. and went over that a couple times with the Never Dull actually, and then buffed it to a nice clean shine, which is pretty nice from what it used to look like. The handlebars are on there just temporarily, just to hook up the throttle and get the brakes all adjusted right, so I can just throw these things on and go when the hood's ready to go. I did one coat of black metal flake on the hood there. You can't really see it right now, but there's a few imperfections in here that you also can't see, so I'm gonna have to block sand that and then do another coat of that. So that's gonna take me a little while, and then I gotta do the orange obviously. Out here we're polishing the rims. These ones haven't been done yet, and these ones are currently drying with the polish, and this is the stuff I use right here, Eagle 1 Never Dull, and it's a wadding polish, and what that means is, let's see if I can do this, it's like you buy a can and it's a giant wad of like cotton or something, or wool, I don't know what the hell it is, but you break off chunks. Like I would rip off a chunk like that size and do like one of these wheels, or maybe two. It's a pretty good sized chunk, but it has this stuff in it already, so you gotta wash your hands after you're done. You basically just, you know, polish it real good and then go over it with a nice cloth after the fact. I use microfiber. You can see this one's pretty well used at this point, but still working alright. Microfiber is pretty awesome stuff for polishing aluminum. We're getting there. Wheels are on now and polished. They look beautiful inside and out. They spin beautiful too. I mean, that'll just keep going. Yeah, things are polishing up nice. Hoping I can keep it this way. I just painted the grill of the hood that metal flake black. As you can see my light reflecting in it. It's not extremely glossy because I still have to do the clear coat, but you can see the flake in it. It's a little more interesting than just the regular gloss black. Yeah, just about ready to do the color coat now. Sand it down one more time and paint that. And that's pretty much the last thing I'm waiting on. So there we are. There's the color scheme. And I was going to fade these lines, the orange into the black. You can see I just kind of hard lined them there with tape. And I have a little airbrush, but honestly I am really not confident in my skills in fading that into an orange. I might give it a shot, you know, kind of go through a couple test runs with the airbrush, but if I can't do it very good, then I'm just going to fog this thing with clear coat and call it good. And here's something to show you. I thought I taped this thing off well enough, but this just goes to show you no matter what you do, you're always going to have a little bit of overspray. So I'm going to go grab a little bit of acetone and hopefully I can get that off before it cures. So here's the airbrush kit that I borrowed, and it's a really cheap one. You got it for like $9 at a fair, and it works off a Venturi effect. It just blows through this little tool. You push the button and it blows through that way, and it comes out that silver nose and blows across this brass fitting, and supposedly it sucks this fluid, you know, out of the container and blows it on whatever you're pointing at. But I cannot get this thing to even work. It hooks up to a standard compressor right there. I don't know if it's supposed to be CO2 or what, but that's what he has it hooked up for, and I think that's what it's supposed to be for. But anyways, it's got acetone in it right now, and I can't even get it to pull acetone up through, which is pretty much telling me that there's no way I'm going to pull a heavy metal flake through it. So I guess we're going to not do the fade on these lines on the hood. But honestly, once this thing is sitting on the ground and you stand back, you're not really going to give a damn about the fade on the lines on the hood. That's going to be the least of your concerns. But anyways, we're going to do clear coat now. And then that's it. She dries. So here it is hanging upside down, and I did that because as I was painting it right in the beginning, I got a run, unfortunately, in the clear coat, which you probably can't even see now because it's drying, but it was right there. And it's on the bottom, on the lower lip of this front end, so I really don't think you're going to see it. Even when it dries, I don't think you're going to see it, but you're definitely not going to see it being how low it is. Either way, that's the only flaw that I found so far. The paint, the orange paint, is really nice. I really like it. The only thing I would complain about is it comes out of the can a little blotchy. I did 4 coats to get it relatively even. And I got a couple of spots, you can't see them right now, but there's like a little bit of, there's like a red spot where some of the can apparently didn't mix perfectly, but oh well. You can see I left the hard lines there, like we talked about, and I cleared over the lines, so they're pretty smooth, I'm assuming. I haven't touched it yet, because it's still curing. But it looks pretty good. I'm very happy with it so far. if it dries and none of these damn bugs land in it, you know, I'll be really happy. But we're gonna let this thing cure for a couple of days, and we'll take it off the hanger and take all the tape off of it and get it ready to mount on the go-kart racing mower thing here, which is under a fitted sheet so it doesn't get overspray on it. But yeah, we're reaching the end of this process, ladies and gentlemen.